everybody. Welcome to Convo Fango. We have a very special guest today. We are joined by Adrienne King. Thank you so much for coming to
Cheers,
hang
cheers
out.
to Angel.
Cheers.
Thank you, Angel. It's so nice to meet you finally.
Lovely to meet you, face to face, kind of.
Cheers. This is as close as we're going to get for a little while, right?
Yes. Hopefully, eventually, we'll be actually face to face. But for now, this is cool.
Soon, I
So
hope.
soon. Soon.
So soon. Fingers crossed. Everything crossed.
So today, we're going to be chatting about the Final Girl support group. Of course, you famously defeated Mrs. Voorhees in the original Friday the 13th. You're a genuine Final Girl. So who better than to narrate Grady Hendrix's new novel, The Final Girl Support Group, other than you?
What a gift, huh? I mean, anybody who knows Grady Hendrix books or Grady has to appreciate how incredibly fabulous this writer is to the horror genre. And it was really interesting because he sent me this book back last November for me to read it, see if I related to it, and if I liked it, write a nice little blurb. And needless to say, it blew my mind. It totally, I could not believe that this man got inside of my brain from 40 years ago and was able to somehow put into words the anxiety, the fear, the trauma that I went through back then. And very few people ever, I mean, a lot of people want to talk about it, and I'm very quiet about it because I don't like to relive those memories. But oh my God, somehow Grady was able to take all of that and turn it into a love letter. Go figure, it's, it's insane. He just, he said he wanted to give Alice a better or happier ending because he didn't like the way she was off in part two, nor if you look on any of my social media sites or anything, it's the one thing everybody over and over, oh, bring Alice back, it was horrible and she shouldn't have died that quickly. And of course, Angel, I always say it was a post-traumatic stress dream, because after something like that, I do know you suffer post-traumatic stress. And Grady was able to convey that in the Final Girl support group, all of that. And it was just like riding a roller coaster of all of these emotions whooshing back to me. So my comment to him was, this book was incredible, but I suffered so much anxiety that I suggested reading it with a bottle of Crystal Lake wine and some CBD, And he loved the review, and we got to talking, and it turned out we were fans, mutual friends, and it went on from there.
Amazing. That I like, and your voice is so soothing, really. Like I was listening to the audiobook and I was like, oh my God, I just like love this. And you're talking about very unsoothing things, but your voice as it starts out is quite soothing, So.
Well, that's what happens when final girls learn to survive, You have to find Zen.
Yes.
Because if you actually emote the actual feelings, you won't have anyone around you, close to you. And trust me when I tell you, my husband, God love him, he suffers sometimes from my anxiety because it's still, I still have to bottle it at times, it kind of gets off, something can trigger it. And so it's post-traumatic stress. And I've been in therapy on and off for 40 years to try and keep it under control. And it's always a struggle, but like I said, this was cathartic. This actually soothed me. And so maybe from what I've gone through, and also when I disappeared from on camera after the first film, the second film was just a quick, I told the filmmakers, whatever, I told my director, Sean Cunningham, whatever he needed me to do for part 2 was, I'd be there for them. But unbeknownst to me, they'd already made some other decisions and it was going down a different track. And so I did part 2 very quickly, but then kind of disappeared into voiceovers because I realized did not feel safe on camera. And this was through, years of therapy, going off to the Royal Academy in London, studying Shakespeare, thinking everything was normal and everything was great. And I came back to the States. My agent had set up a screen test for all my children. And the screen test went great. I got the role of Dr. Hoberman. Anybody from way back there, whoever wants to know whatever happened to Dr. Hoberman, she was there for like one day. Well, I had an anxiety. Seriously, it was traumatic for me because I went in there thinking, oh, life is grand. Life is perfect. I'm back. I'm going to be on camera again. And I had an anxiety attack. And I grew up on camera since I was a kid. I did commercials from a very tender age. And so I was blown away. And I said to my agent, I can't do on camera anymore. It's obviously worse than I thought. And so I went into voiceovers, which groomed me for the next couple of decades to become one of the best voiceover ladies in the 80s in New York City. I was with Cunningham and Associates. Cunningham Ascotapini was on their top voiceover reel at the time. We had reels.
Yeah.
And I still have my little reels. And
I love that.
And I went into looping, which is all of the background voices in a film. And so I was so blessed to be able to keep a pinky, I call it. I kept my pinky in the biz. And I was able to, my sanctuary became the recording booth. And I felt very safe there. And I learned so much from so many people. I worked with the likes of Burgess Meredith in the recording booth. I worked with Mel Blanc, who is the fellow who did all the voices, right?
Like literally, the man of 1,000 voices.
Exactly. And I really worked with some of the best voiceover talent. And that is how you learn. It's, it's all about being fortunate enough to have a support group. Hello, a final girl support group, which at the time was minimal, I have to admit, because there were no laws against stalking. Not until 1986, when Rebecca Schaefer, who was living in LA doing My Sister Sam, she unfortunately was killed by her stalker. And that's when finally people went, oh, maybe there should be a law, because what I was told by the cops back when I was having my problems and the authorities was, you made a film like that, what do you expect?
Oh my God.
And no, I'm serious. I mean, horror to people back then was one step above porn for women.
Yeah, they're basically the same thing to people. Yeah. I can't believe that.
But it's, and in some places, I still think they probably think that,
Yeah.
But I'm here to say that final girls last, and they and they get tough. And they get strong, and they learn how to deal with all the crazies out there, or at least they try. And Lynette, who is the narrator in this book, Lynette, boy, I had nothing on her. I mean, I was always looking over my shoulders. I mean, my my artwork has always been my go-to. It's always been my therapy. And I actually, I have a degree from FIT in fine arts. So it was always something I could lean on. And my art became very dark because that was truly the support, my way of dealing with it.
Right.
Because back then you weren't supposed to talk about it. And so, and there was no social media. So basically, like, if you can imagine, my mom's going, go talk to the priest, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that'll help. That's going to really do well. Maybe he can teach me how to do more tricks with my machete, you know. And
I love that you can talk about it with levity now, but like hearing this, it makes me so angry to know that there was no support for that. And then the people that are supposed to be helping or say things like, well, what do you expect? And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It basically, that was the bottom line. And, you know, what happens, you go undercover. And that's what I did. I hid in the recording booth and I hid in my apartment. And I would go out maybe with friends that when I felt safe, but then I would get Polaroids the next day under my door in a Chinese menu or an Italian menu. I lived in a doorman building in New York City. How did these things happen? They did. And where there's a will, there's a way, and stalkers get very creative, you know? So, so going back to the book, Lynette, she really decides that she is, the only thing she can do is figure out how to make sure her life is guarded and safe. And she has a routine. And I pretty much had a routine then too, you know? So it's extraordinary that, yes, I can look back and I can laugh at it, but that's because I was able to get through it. And 40 years later, I mean, there are still things I honestly, people want me to write this book so bad, write what happened to me. I've tried, I couldn't. You know, you go through so much hell and you work so hard to compartmentalize it and then burn it and then bury it. You know, it's like, and then throw it into the deepest waters that you know of. And for me to have gone back, even though I love the idea that my getting through this has been able to help so many other people, because my fans respond to me the way they first responded to Alice. Alice was their touchstone. For the victims, for the people who were bullied in school, for the gay population going through what they went through during the 80s. I mean, during the 70s, 80s, 90s, I mean, traumatic. And I had some very, very close friends having gone to FIT in New York City and who suffered from traumas as well. And we somehow, knowing that my strength somehow was giving them strength, helped me. But it was not until I reunited with my fans at my first real convention in New Jersey at Schiller Theater. It was humongous. It was January, it was freezing, and people were lined up outside around the block, up the escalators. You know, it was, I didn't even have an 8x10 with me. And so they had to run out to Kinko's. They had to run out to Kinko's because I had no idea what to expect. And the first question, of course, was, why did you leave us? Where did you go? And I was like, yeah, I knew this was going to come up. And I slowly, because it's still very hard for me to bring it up, but slowly I shared little bits and pieces of what had happened, and that it was much easier for me at that time to lay low. And you might see my name on the credits, you know, for, I don't know if it's on Gilbert Grape, because loopers don't always get credits, but I did Titanic, I did Jerry Maguire. If you look on my website, you'll see I have a huge list of fabulous things I did. And I tried to explain this to the fans, and I said, but I just wasn't strong enough, to be honest with you, to go back on camera. And I heard sobbing in the audience. And I looked out and I turned around, and Betsy Palmer is there. She's going, "You had a what? You had a stalker?" And she's like, and it's like, I looked out to the audience, and I swear, these guys, huge, macho, you know, tattoos and big guys, and they're crying, and they come up to me and they hug me. And it was at that moment, I say that final piece of my heart that I thought I was fixed. I thought I was done, but I felt something heal me right then from my fans, my campers, I call them, and it was then I got this magical, this incredible bond with them that obviously they feel as much as I feel. And the strength that evolves in this book, because I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Right, no spoilers, yeah.
It's so good, but the narrator goes through this arc that is so incredible, because you feel her anxiety, and then you see her wit, and then doubt, and then pull everything she's got from the gut to give it one more shot and make a difference. And it's like, how the did Grady Hendrix get in my head? Because I could never have written these words without, you know, going through severe psychosis. Yeah. But somehow reading it and narrating it, once again, cathartic in a way that you think you've totally healed. And then Grady names the heroine Adrienne, you know, come on, does it get better than that? And it's like, Angel, I've always in my mind thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if I could somehow get a bookend to Friday the 13th, you know, because I just feel like it's, you know, Hollywood's never going to let me ever, you know, when they finally get out of court, I doubt that I'll be their first choice for the lead. We just know that going in. That's okay. I'm just hoping there would be something, but little did I ever think that my bookend would be a book. Yeah. It would be a book, because the reviews I've been getting are incredible. And it's just fabulous to know that, once again, given the material that is just off the charts. I mean, Friday the 13th blew it away, right? Off the charts. I mean, let's hear King Kong. King Kong. She only did one movie, you know that, right? That's what we think. She starred in 300 movies, right?
300 movies? Jeez.
Yeah, we only remember her for that one.
Right.
Look at all the time I saved. Look at all the time I saved. And then I get this incredible friggin' 5-star book as a gift to narrate. And I get to voice all the final girls. I mean, a mind blower in itself. Plus the characters. And you know, it's just, like I said, Hollywood won't let me do this on screen, but I got to do it in an audiobook. And I got to share this with all my 3 generations of fans around the world. So I'm getting reviews from Australia and Brazil and Japan. They all everybody speaks English, you know? And actually going to go to London and read an excerpt for the Misty Moon Film Society. It's like I'm resurrected from the dead one more time, you know?
So cool. I love this so much. I feel like Hollywood would be happy to have you back if you chose and decided that you wanted to come back. I feel like you would be welcomed with open arms. You had a line around the
Oh,
fucking building. People wanted those 8x10s.
yeah. Well, my fans are so loyal. I mean, seriously, wherever I go, it's always a wonderful line because I spend time with my people and we've shared a lot. And like I said, a lot of these people used to come home from school after being bullied and pop in the VHS. And if Alice can make it, so can I. And if Adrienne can make it, so can I. And it's still an amazing, humbling, very humbling scenario when you really think about a little low budget movie that ran out of money. You know, we didn't even have a wetsuit for the final scene. You know, I just froze my butt off.
Yeah.
And very happy to do it. You know, it was like, it was just such a fabulous experience. And then to have it become so incredible because Paramount was so brilliant releasing it the way they did and Warner Brothers the way they did. And then Fangoria doing, their thing and Tony Tone always behind everything that we did. And, it's just horror families are chosen friends, the way I look at it, chosen family, family. That's because a lot of families don't get us.
Yeah.
But
it very
we all
much
have
is.
each other.
Yes, it's a special breed.
It really is. It really is. And we support each other. There's that word again. We are a support group. We support each other on so many levels. And, a shout out to Chelsea Stardust, who I adore, who did Satanic Panic. Yeah. I mean, she did what, as a young actress, I would have loved to have gone from acting maybe into directing or something. But now looking at all the young women coming through the ranks, making a difference, you yourself, look at what you're doing, it's wonderful because women back in the day, we didn't have much of a chance. And so we kind of had to really hold on to every inch we got and then scratch for the next one. And so it's so wonderful to see so many talented women really finding their place. And horror community is the one community that gives us a real good chance of that.
Yeah, well, and I mean, you guys paved the way for us. I mean, you're listing these names and I'm like, yeah, but what we're doing now doesn't exist without you guys paving that path. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then like, I think we're all trying to pave the path for the ones that come up behind us. But it's like, you guys were the trailblazers, absolutely, for this kind of stuff.
Well, cheers to trailblazers.
Cheers to trailblazers.
And support groups and the next generation of talented ladies out there.
Yes, I love that.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Yes.
I have to tell you, I just had my birthday party this past weekend and the theme was
happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. What's the what date?
July 21st. July 21st
we have
is mine.
We
are birthday twins.
No.
We're kindred spirits and we're birthday twins. Yeah.
Oh no wonder I like you so much.
But I had a summer camp slasher themed birthday and I dressed as a final girl.
Bravo.
So.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, that's so fabulous. We have to make sure we get some Survivor Syrah out to you. Crystal Lake Survivor Syrah.
Thank you.
and one of these days, it's been too hot to ship wine from Oregon. It's been really hot up here, ridiculous. But once it cools down, I'm hoping this painting behind me, I called it Final Girls Glow. I did it last year when I was at the Boy Scout camp. They've opened it now to campers. They finally got smart. Instead of people sneaking in, they finally realized they could make a ton of money. And we made them we made them $250,000 the first time I showed up at the camp.
Oh my God.
So they caught on quick. They caught on quick. And that's because my manager, Stacy Lee, CMV Promotions, just saying, she's so awesome. She was a fan first. She was the first person that greeted me at that New Jersey 2004 convention, Chiller Convention. This is what's so great. She loved horror movies so much and saw all the delinquent managers out there just trying to make a buck. She got really cool and put together CMV Promotions, and she and her male partner, but we forgive him, it's okay. Stacy convinced the Boy Scout commandos that they should totally open their doors to us, and God bless her, because she spoke the language. She was able to communicate with a different group of people. And that's why now we have Crystal Lake tours going on, which is so cool, because the camp is identical. And that place where I was so clever hammering the nails, with the nails sticking in my teeth. I was, don't ever hire me to fix your roof. We actually, from the monies we earned for the Boy Scouts, they built this humongous trading post. And I'm waiting for the next time I get back there, hopefully to take, well, they won't let wine on the property, of course, no. But I'm hoping they will call it Alice's Trading Post. They should. just putting it out there, Boy Scouts.
Just a suggestion, just throwing it out. You also need a picture with the nails in your mouth, like you're putting together that outpost.
Right. But I figure I have to remember to bring a copy of Grady's book there to do some really cool photo ops, because it all started at camp. And Grady actually said that it's because part 2 was so savage in the way they just offed her. That's what was stuck in his mind since then. And he said he's been working on it ever since, but 8 years, he said it was in the making. And you can kind of understand it when you see all the little overlappings and the different storylines. And then it's a little, sometimes it's good to have the book as well, because he has all of these, in the beginning, these texts and it's all this stuff that is very difficult to understand, because it's all these weird kind of things, but it gives clues if you want clues. But other than, but did you read the book as well as, I know you said you listened to it and it was calm, because I have a lot of people say, oh, I loved listening to it. I didn't want to stop, and I couldn't put it, turn it off. And so I had to take off work the next day.
Yeah, I don't have a hard copy yet. I'm going to, because I'd like to have both, but I have listened to it, but I would like to see the hard copy as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I had to, it's like, obviously I had the galleys, but when I saw the book, I went, oh, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Makes a difference. Yeah.
Translating texts in an audiobook is definitely a challenge, but I think I did okay. But the rest
you pulled
of
it off though. Yeah.
Well, yeah. But the rest of it is so cool. The way he does the VHS backs, the backs of the copies of the VHSs, and then the reviews, and I just love all of the layering.
And you can tell that it's someone who's such a fan of the genre, coming at it with such love, with all that kind of different layering in it. Yes. And then that makes such a difference in a project though, because when someone creates it with that much love, it literally exudes out of the project.
It's so true. And I think that's why when you said, were you able to have a calm voice when you went through some of that really crazy stuff. And it's because you have to. Could you imagine somebody driving and all of a sudden you go, ah, you know? So, and because when I first did read it, trust me when I tell you, I was like, some of this stuff was definitely worthy of huge screens and stuff. But you got to figure out how to keep it down so nobody takes the swerve off the road, you know. And so that was, you know, when I did Titanic, everything was full blast, and you know, there were probably about 10 people in there with the loopers. So there's probably 3 or 4 of each, male and female, and they want you to go full blast. So you can hear my screams all throughout Titanic. I mean, and all of the scenes, but especially when I scream, you know.
Yeah.
You can always hear my screams. But what was really cool is I did it here in Blackstone Audio in Ashland, and I live, as the crow flies, 10 minutes through mountain passes. It's an hour to get there, but I didn't have to go down to LA. It's only an hour flight for me to go down to LA. So that's very cool. But it was so much nicer to have it here in my backyard. And Blackstone Audio is like one of the largest audiobook companies. So I was so excited because Grady says, oh, wonderful, we'll get you a great producer. And I said, terrific. And I get there, and there's one recording engineer, and he was my producer. And I'm like, where's the director? Where's the producer? When I do a 30-second commercial, there's at least 10 people in the recording booth, you know? And it's like, but we got along so famously. We never got any feedback or notes back from the UK or Penguin. So we went, I guess we're doing okay. And then it was like Ben just, he was producer, recording engineer at Blackstone. We just got along famously, and he guided me, and he kind of just liked everything I did. And if it did go too high, he'd go, okay, we just got to get that. We don't want them swerving off the road. You know, we got to keep that down. And so that's basically how I did it. And in terms of doing Lynette, I just channeled Adrienne, me from 1980. That's what I did. But obviously, the first paragraph, I love the first paragraph, the opening paragraph, when she you know, I get up, you know, I drink a liter bottle of water, I say, good morning, my plant. And then she goes, oh my God, I might die today. And she goes, when you get old, you get soft. It's like, that's me, you know, when you get old, you get soft. And so everything is tempered. You know, the audiobook, if I read it 40 years ago, I never would have been able to get through it because it was so vivid.
It was so, your day to day. It was, yeah, there's no way.
It was so whereas now, yes, it's vivid. And honestly, it did bring my anxiety up quite a few notches. It truly did. So you know, I used all my techniques and my CBD. Yeah. And my Survivor Syrah, I have to, you know, but yeah. But anyway, it all worked out, and I'm so thankful that Grady gave me this chance, because I mean, we did a blank. They listened to a bunch of other people along with me, because they were trying to decide who was going to do this the best. You know, it's great to have a final girl, but if she can't read, you know, it's not going to work for her. So anyway, it was, I read, and along with other narrators, and it came back me, and I was like, whoa, Grady, what did I get myself into, you know? Because now I literally, that was my life for a solid 6 weeks, you know, because you live with these characters, and before you go to the recording booth, you have to know them inside and out, because time is money and you can't screw up. You know, you really don't want to screw up in a recording booth. They'll never hire you again. So, you know, you learn, You learn quick. That's that goes back to my looping with looping. If you can't get it by the second time, you'll never loop again, you know,
Yeah.
because time is money. So
Right.
and it's like what you do. It's what everybody does. It's got anybody who's in front of a camera knows, or in front of a mic knows. You've got you can't mess up too much because you're not going to have a job.
Right.
So it was
No
so
pressure.
wonderful. Right, no pressure whatsoever. But it was so wonderful because Ben just made me feel. And okay, so we have Oregon Shakespeare Festival
Ooh.
up here in Ashland, which is why Blackstone Audio opened, because they've got a talent pool. They're brilliant actors here. So needless to say, it was so wonderful finally getting to meet with these people, because now I'm going to be working with them again. So it's, you know, Grady just opened up a whole new career for me.
I love that. That's awesome. That it's leading to these other things.
And how sweet. I mean, how kind to have even considered giving a final girl, you know, the opportunity, because we're kind of, you know, we're kind of boxed, and we're kind of like thrown into a little place there. I was going to say a closet. Closet's not the right word, though. We're kind of thrown
pigeonholed.
There you go.
Yeah.
Pigeonholed. And it's probably, you know, well, I'm here to prove that us final girls do a lot more than just scream and run and use machetes and
hell
you know,
yes.
we're here to protect the world.
Yes.
And if I ever get, yeah, and just, oh, and there's something that's going to tie into this that's so extraordinary this later this summer, in August, on a special date in August that might be a 13th or a Friday. I'm not really sure which one it is. There, and I'm not allowed to divulge anything about it. Okay, so read between the lines here. But I think my fans and my campers will be very happy. There might be another bookend involved. OMG, OMG. You know, and the cool thing about it is somehow everyone around the world will be able to see it at the same time. I don't know how that works out, but
okay.
I'm going to be in Portland supporting a bunch of incredible, Portland, Oregon, supporting a group of incredible, talented actors, as well as filmmakers, some incredibly talented filmmakers. So that will be at the Hollywood Theater. I went there with another final girl right before the pandemic started, and we sold out the theater, which was fabulous. For Friday the 13th, 1 and 2. I went there with Amy Steele. And,
so cool.
Yeah, so cool. You know,
so cool.
We're good. We're good buds in real life. She came up to visit me up at the winery here, at Valley Winery, where is the home of Crystal Lake wines, where I do have a Crystal Lake corner with all the wonderful gifts people send me and all the artwork and all my artwork and whatever. And so she came up, and she loved Oregon so much. She moved up here about 2 months later, and so she's an Oregonian as well. So we met up in Portland, but she won't be there this time because she's going to Monster Mania in New Jersey. So it's you know, it gets very, very involved when final girls finally can break out of the gate and go see their fans, right?
Yes. Oh, I love that. That all makes me like so happy. My heart is just like, oh, glowing right now for all of that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
That's great.
So, so what else is going on with Fangoria these days?
What else is going on with Fangoria? All kinds of fun stuff. I just took over the website, so we're like just kind of really hitting that hard. So that's a lot of fun for me. I get to do fun stuff like this, and then kind of like lose my mind and be like, be cool, chill out, be cool.
I love that. I love that. Now, Angel, you see, I do have a website, but I'm really trying to do this myself. So it's like the Shopify one where you can kind of set it up yourself. And I'm still really pathetic at it, but I'm doing my best. So if you send me a link, I promise if I can figure it out, I will put it on my website because I want everybody to see this.
Oh yeah, we'll absolutely send you a link. And then we can link to your site probably too as well.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, like I said, kind of generationally impaired, but God, I try. I try to keep up.
I mean, you're running a website with Shopify. I'd say that's pretty good.
Well, I'm trying. You know, I post. I don't have very much to sell, but I try. I try to post like my paintings, and you know, and I try to blog once in a while, and I can sell wine. I you know, I will promote the wine, but right now it's all about Grady's Final Girl Support Group, and so I'm really trying to help him because he deserves every ounce of. It's climbing the New York Times bestseller chart. It's climbing the USA bestseller chart. I mean, I've loved all his books. And I've always been a fan, but oh my God, this one I think totally blows them out of the water. And I could be a little biased, but you know, and I see Charlize Theron and the It people are going to do an HBO series. Oh my God, if you're listening, hi, I could be a tech advisor, technical advisor right here. Maybe a little extra work, you know, I do stunts. I do stunts. I did the stunts in Ghostbusters, you know.
Cool.
Yeah.
That would be the Easter egg of Easter eggs. I'm just saying, like if you like wanted to be involved with that and they're like, yeah, let's put you in this, that would be so cool.
That would be so much fun. Anyway, I've been a fan of hers. So when I cast the movie in my brain, because that's how you have to do it. At least that's how I had to do it, had to figure it out. I had to cast, so I cast an A-list movie, you know, and Charlize Theron was Lynette. So imagine my star. I swear to God. And I wrote, and I told this, I told this to Grady, and I told this to a couple of other people, and I don't want to mention names because they were like, and somebody said, who else did you cast? And I said, well, the doctor was Nicole Kidman, but she was Americanized.
Okay.
Do you see that?
Yes, I love that. Okay.
And then Julianne Moore was Crazy Chrissy.
Amazing.
Do you see that? You see that? I totally saw that. And then I had some other really good ones, but
I want to know your full cast. Now I'm like, no, I need to know your whole lineup.
Okay, well, let me think. Sam Elliott was the voice that I hope. Lenny. Oh, Lenny, what am I gonna do with you, Lenny?
Hey, that's not a bad Sam Elliott. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to drag your ass along the pavement. Oh my God, I had so much fun. Are you allowed to have this much fun when you're my age? If not, arrest me. I swear to God. I had so freaking much fun doing this. And I'm just really trying to think of the other characters that I did have. Some of them were blended. Okay. Like I had, you know, I had a blend of some, like I even had oh God, you see, this is why I can't say names because now the age is coming in. I'm blanking on names, you know. Oh God, geez Louise. Anyway, I will send you my full cast.
Okay, yeah, send me that cast list because this is a killer. This is like a killer lineup. I'm like, the show might just want to use your list for this.
I will totally. I'll feed you the rest of them online. How's that?
Okay, yeah.
Because I honestly did. I had an entire page and each character had a highlight color because in some chapters I had 4 voices going on the same page.
I'm wondering about that because I feel like it's already hard enough you're narrating and then you're voicing a character because those have to be two separate
right,
things, kind of. And then
right.
throwing other characters in the mix, you have basically it's like an ensemble that you're doing, and they're all very distinct characters. So how do you then like? Did you collaborate with Grady on that, or was it just you thinking like, okay, this
I,
is who
you
they are to
know,
me?
I would have loved to have actually collaborated. He was so busy, and I totally
Mhm.
get that. But maybe he didn't want to influence me either. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
Maybe because a lot of times directors are very careful about that. And
Mhm.
I was looking at him as a director. I would have loved to have him sit there and tell me, do this, do that, do this. But he entrusted me, and oh my God, huge responsibility. So yes, and also I have ADD of the worst. So imagine I have to hyper focus normally in life to get
Mhm.
stuff done. But on something like this, that's what I did. Each character had a person next to them and had their own color
Mhm.
and highlight color. And so I got, like I said, I got to know these people so well. I was dreaming them. I was dreaming them. And that's basically like doing the only way as Alice would say, it's the only way I know how. It's I had very few people to ask. I asked my dear friend Beth Wernick, who was head of my loop group in LA, and she has Imaginary Friends music group, and she is just the best of voiceover talent, and she helped me with some basic timing issues because I tend to read too quickly. And people are saying they're slowing me down, which or speeding me up. I can't remember. They're doing one or the other because I was told to slow down. And it's like, okay, well, there is so much to grasp here.
Mhm.
I get that you have to slow down. So that was one of my, and also my sister, Laura, helped because she's a teach, educator, and she's a principal, or actually just retired from principals. And so all she does is like books on tape and all that stuff. And she said the most important thing to do is make this so personal that you're talking to one person.
Mhm.
And that was a huge help too.
That's a great
You're not,
note.
yeah, and that was from my sister, my sweet sister, and she helped me a lot because she said, you know, it has to be so personal, and you are talking to your fans. You know, they want to listen to you, and they want to hear you. Don't do anything different. Use your voice because you are Lynette. You
Yeah.
know, you for all
Basically,
intents
yes.
and purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of my original art pieces, and it's on my website, is called Stalking on 82nd Street. And I'm wearing a mask and holding what's called a bag of masks. Because I mean, I'm looking over my shoulder. And it's one of the few pieces of art that survived the early 80s of my work, because my mom would come into my apartment and take all my dark art and throw it down the incinerator.
Oh
Oh yeah.
no. Oh no.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So not quite the support team I needed,
You
but
oh god.
but
Oh, but also just like as a fan too, I'm just thinking about like all the people watching this being like, "No!"
yeah,
that would have loved to have that. Or like by
I
Prince,
know, I
by the
know,
originals.
right,
Oh,
right.
mom.
But the good news is my art's gotten color.
Yay.
Yay, as life has gone on, but there still are a couple of dark pieces that are looming around. And actually in the UK, there's a few, because I had my first woman's art show, one woman art show in the UK in London, at the Misty Moon art show. And a lot of my paintings sold there. So that was fabulous, my originals. And
That is no surprise, Adrienne. That is no surprise to me at all, honestly.
yeah, I'm always honored. I'm always humbled. And it's like so wonderful because I get to take all my gifts somehow, all my blessings, all my passions, my art, my acting, my voice. Who knew voice was going to be something that would become important, but I have a voice, I have a voice in many ways now, because I'm here to tell all your listeners and all the people out there in Fangoria land that you can hold on. If you don't have a great support group, include me. I respond. I do. I talk to people on social media, and I'm just here to tell you that life gets better as you go on. And if that one night when you don't know you're going to make it through the day, that next morning, and I've had those nights, I'm here to tell you it's worth holding on. Even at that darkest moment when you go, it's not worth it. Nobody cares. Why bother? Why bother? And I'm telling you why to bother. I'm telling you, 40 years later, I'm here and I'm happier than I've ever been. 40 years later, you can be here, not maybe here, but you can be there doing what you love to do. Don't let one person or two people or any people, don't let any individual take you away from you. And it may take a while, and it may take baby steps, because for me, it took baby steps. Everybody's going, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, get out there, get out there. I wasn't ready to get out there. I was a basket case, and I'm here to share that. I was recording in the booth. I felt safe. I left that studio. I was looking over my shoulder. So I just want you to know, people, and Angel, if there's ever a moment in your life where you go, I'm done, just think of me. Think of me saying, be smart, smart word. Be a little bit smarter. Pop in the Friday the 13th cassette if you have to, the DVD, the stream, whatever it is. Just know that it does get better. And it might look as dismal as possible. It gets better, and I promise you. And I'll give you a hug when you see me. I'll give you that big hug to reassure you it does. And if that's the only purpose that I had to go through that hell for 1.5 years, if this is my purpose, to let everybody know that you too can get by, and you can get on, and you can have a full life, and it may take you a long time, but I promise it's there. Hang in there and surround yourself by your passions, and don't give up on those. Paint if you love to paint, write if you love to write, make movies. Who cares if people spit on them? It doesn't matter. It's for you. It's for you, and you deserve to be happy. And that's my final girl note.
Adrienne, that is such a final girl note. I'm like, I'm trying not to try to like compose myself. I'm gonna give you the biggest hug when I see you. Such a big hug.
Right back at you. Right back at you, Angel. Right back at you. Seriously.
Oh, this was awesome. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us today. Everyone go check out Final Girl Support Group. You can, it's available everywhere. You can buy it in print, or you can buy the Audible version, the audiobook version, and hear Adrienne narrating.
It's on Amazon too. Yeah, it's on Amazon. There's a link on my website, adrienneking.com, crystallakewines.com. Everything is linked into each other. And maybe we'll get to talk next month about something else.
We are definitely, I don't know what it is yet, but I'm putting it in the calendar. We are talking next month about this exciting announcement.